6 hours. That's how long experts say you can survive in 127-degree heat without water. My GPS died in Death Valley. I had no cell service, and the temperature was climbing toward the hottest ever recorded on Earth. Every minute was taking me closer to heat stroke. Hello. Today I'm going to tell you about the most scorching 6 hours of my life. My name is Marcus Rivera. I'm 29 years old and I work as a geological surveyor in Arizona. For the past 7 years, I've been doing mineral research in desert regions, examining rock formations. Mojave, Sonoran, Colorado deserts, I've worked in all of them. But that day, the routine geological survey I conducted in Death Valley almost became my last survey. Everything started on the morning of July 15th. It was one of the hottest days of summer season in Death Valley. A temperature record was expected to be broken. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't do field work on such days, but I needed to collect samples for an important project. Death Valley is one of the hottest and driest places on Earth. 282 feet below sea level, surrounded by mountains like a giant cauldron. The highest temperature record was recorded as 134 degrees Fahrenheit in 1913. That day we were approaching this record. At 6 a.m. I left Furnace Creek. I was going to the research area near Badwater Basin with my Toyota 4Runner. I had professional equipment, GPS, satellite phone, water tanks, cooling vest, wide brim hat, UV protection clothing. The first 3 hours went smoothly. I collected my samples, took my measurements. At 9 a.m. the temperature was 109 degrees Fahrenheit, reasonable by normal Death Valley standards. But it was rising rapidly. At 10:30 a.m. I moved to the second location by car. This is where I made my first mistake. Instead of using the main road, I used a dirt road to take a shortcut. I was relying on my GPS. At 11:45 a.m. my GPS lost signal. Probably electronic interference or satellite issue. There was no backup navigation because I thought I knew this area well. Around noon, at 12 p.m., the critical moment came. My car stopped. Engine overheating. The radiator had burst. At 120 degrees Fahrenheit heat, in the middle of nowhere, with a broken car. I immediately realized the severity of the situation. Cell phone no signal. GPS not working. Nearest road 15 miles away. Temperature climbing rapidly. My water supply was 4 liters. Normally adequate but insufficient in 122 degrees Fahrenheit plus heat. Desert survival calculation. In extreme heat, the human body loses 1 to 2 liters of water per hour. 6 hours maximum survival time without water replenishment. In the first hour, temperature reached 124 degrees Fahrenheit. I applied initial survival strategy by staying in the car's shade. Avoiding direct sun exposure is critical. Metal surfaces can reach 158 degrees Fahrenheit. During this time, the body's cooling system was working at maximum capacity. Profuse sweating, increased heart rate, dilated blood vessels, all systems active to control body temperature. In the second hour, at 126 degrees Fahrenheit, sweating pattern changed. Less profuse, but more concentrated. This was a danger sign. The body was going into water conservation mode. Early stages of dehydration. In the third hour, temperature reached 127 degrees Fahrenheit. Official Death Valley heat record territory. At this point, serious physiological changes began. Core body temperature rose from normal 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit to 101.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Mild hyperthermia stage. Symptoms: dizziness, nausea, confusion onset. Cosmetics function decline began. In the fourth hour, early pages of heat stroke started appearing. Sweating mechanism partially failing. Hot and dry skin areas appearing. Core temperature estimated at 103.1 degrees Fahrenheit. At this critical point, I made an emergency decision. Staying by the car versus walking for help. Distance calculations. Nearest road 15 miles. Hiking speed in extreme heat maximum 1 mile per hour. 15 hours walking. Impossible. Staying put was more logical but a passive approach. I decided to do signaling. I used car mirrors for sunlight reflection. Heliograph technique. Survival skill. In the 5th hour, temperature reached peak, 129 degrees Fahrenheit. This was unofficial record territory. Physiological crisis in deep stage. Core body temperature 104.9 degrees Fahrenheit plus. Severe hyperthermia. Heart rate 140 plus beats per minute. Blood pressure erratic. Significant cognitive impairment. Beginning of hallucinations. At this stage, I was entering the lethal phase of heat stroke. Organs were starting to fail. Kidney function declining, liver stress, brain swelling risk. As a desperate measure, instead of rationing my remaining water, I made strategic consumption. Lower core temperature. I wet my t-shirt and put it on my head. Evaporation provided cooling effect, temporarily. But precious water was rapidly consumed. Risk/benefit calculation. Immediate cooling versus prolonged hydration. In the 6th hour, a miracle occurred. Distant sound. Vehicle engine. Mining company patrol truck was doing routine area check. Signaling attempts were successful. Mirror reflection caught the vehicle's attention. Truck approached. Driver immediately realized the situation. Jesus Christ, what are you doing out here? Emergency water, immediate shade, AC full blast. Radio communication for medical evacuation. Paramedics came by helicopter. Death Valley emergency response protocol. Immediate intravenous fluids, ice packs, core temperature monitoring. During hospital transport, vital signs. Core temp 106.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Severe heat stroke territory. Blood pressure 90/60. Severe stage dehydration. Heart rate 155 beats per minute. In the emergency room, aggressive cooling therapy. Ice baths, cold IV fluids, electrolyte replacement. 8 hours of intensive treatment. Recovery was remarkable, but dangerous. Heat stroke survivors often experience organ damage, kidney, liver, brain. Fortunately, early intervention prevented permanent damage. Medical analysis revealed impressive facts. Total water loss, 6 liters in 6 hours, 25% of total body water, normally lethal level. Core temperature peak, 106.2 degrees Fahrenheit, just below 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit threshold, where protein denaturation starts irreversibly. Survival factors were crucial. First, shade utilization. Direct sun exposure would have been immediately fatal. Second, strategic water usage. Complete rationing would have been worse than strategic cooling. Third, signaling persistence. Heliograph technique worked despite desperation. Fourth, physical fitness. Desert work experience gave heat adaptation advantage. Fifth, timing luck. Mining patrol was coincidental but life-saving. This experience taught profound desert survival lessons. Lesson 1. Technology backup systems essential. GPS failure contingency planning. Lesson 2. Communication redundancy. Satellite phone backup necessary in extreme environments. Lesson 3. Extreme weather awareness. Heat index monitoring, weather alerts, crucial. Lesson 4. Physiological knowledge. Understanding heat stroke progression is survival key. Lesson 5. Adequate emergency supplies. Recalculate water ratios for extreme conditions. After this incident, I upgraded desert work protocols. Advanced GPS systems, dual satellite communication, increased water supplies, emergency cooling equipment. I gained respect for Death Valley. Beautiful, but unforgiving environment. Temperature extremes test human limits. Small mistakes can create fatal consequences. Today, I still carry the memory of that 129-degree Fahrenheit heat. Increased heat sensitivity, extreme temperature anxiety, but gained incredible survival confidence. This story demonstrates that preparation, knowledge, quick thinking make the life difference in extreme environments. Places like Death Valley deserve respect, can be navigated safely with proper planning and emergency protocols. Surviving 6 hours in 127 degrees Fahrenheit heat normally seems impossible under normal conditions. But with right preparation, physiological awareness, and strategic decision-making, the human body can overcome extreme limits. My advice to you: if you work or travel in extreme environments, do comprehensive emergency planning. Weather monitoring, backup systems, communication redundancy. These are life-saving factors. Most importantly, don't underestimate nature's power. Death Valley is a beautiful destination, but without preparation, it can be a deadly trap. Learn desert survival skills. Recognize heat illness symptoms. Keep adequate emergency supplies. Because in extreme environments, second chances are rare. Thank you for listening to me. If you learned something from this extreme heat experience, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can share desert safety experiences in the comments. See you in the next survival story. Stay safe in extreme conditions.